Hi, guys. Welcome to By Brienne, a podcast where we embrace the journey to fulfill the purpose. And today we are going to be talking about how you are what you eat. Now, I know last time, my last episode, I spoke about gluttony, but this time we're going to be talking about something different, even though the topic incorporates, I guess, eating, but it's not the same type of eating. It's more so consumption. Psychological consumption. So basically, how social media intake is a projection of where you are now and where you will be in the future. And I'm going to be talking about my experience and like what I consumed on social media a year ago and even years prior, and how it hindered me from striving to being the greatest version of myself. So to start off, we're going to talk about mindless scrolling. As new age individuals, Gen Z, I'm sure that all of us can say that we have some sort of addiction. Maybe not all of us, but there maybe have been a point in time where there is some sort of addiction to TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, whatever social media you consume, in Snapchat. And with that, comes with mindless scrolling, increasing dopamine, and just the fact that it's a huge problem in today's generation and society. Statistics shows that 89% of college students, and I'm a college student myself, so 89% of college students experience moderate or severe anxiety and fear when they don't have phones with them. And I can attest to the fact that it kind of feels like not normal when I don't have my phone with me for a certain amount of time, especially when I'm just like walking around in the street, by myself. And that's kind of sad. It's just like, why is it that when we are by ourselves, we feel the need to have a clutch to this device where it just makes us isolated from society, And I feel like ever since COVID, things just gotten worse in terms of social media and the amount of intake that we have, the consumption that we have with these kind of platforms. Studies also show that mindless scrolling contributes to depression, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, and sleep deprivation. I can say that the sleep deprivation I experienced a lot in COVID because I had nothing else better to do than to be on my phone, entertaining myself because we're bored inside the house 24/7, right? And it keeps us stuck while watching other people's lives and not living our own. And I came to the realization that we can't waste our lives watching everyone else's, especially if you have dreams, you have aspirations for yourself. You're wasting time, and time waits for nobody. So the more you are on social media consuming, you may say, okay, I'm gonna watch this video for 5 minutes. 5 minutes go by, and then you get attracted by another video, and then that's 10 minutes. 10 minutes turn into 20, 30, 45, and an hour, and it's more time than you anticipated to even be on these sorts of platforms. So, it's really a rabbit hole that mindless scrolling social media can take you into, that we're not very conscious to the fact that it is becoming detrimental, and even the amount of time that we spent on these platforms. So the type of content that I watched was not beneficial to my life, maybe around a year ago and prior, as I was mentioning before. I consumed a lot of gossip and watching people live their lives on TikTok, and it enabled my mindless scrolling, and I wasn't able to be productive within my own life. I spent more time watching news about celebrities and stuff like that than contributing to what better I can do to my own life. It enabled a lot of mindless scrolling, and as somebody who has their own podcast, certain things like this I had in my mind, but I was too afraid to do it. And I'm over here watching people, influencers and podcasters, of many different content on YouTube do their own thing. But where's the progress towards making my own dreams happen, you know? So, consuming gossip enabled me to talk about people that I didn't even know, like celebrities, influencers, and I realized that they're not even contributing to my life. So it's like, why am I talking about theirs? They don't know me, I don't know them. I'm wasting my time, you know? And instead I was putting most of my time to useless content, and not useful content. I'm not utilizing my time for the better, but I'm just throwing my time away. I was really just a dreamer who wasn't taking action towards my goals, and so it made me very complacent when it came to just taking action towards my ambitions. But I realized that the only way that I can make my dream a reality was if I did it. Like, even if I was fearful of it, it was the only way to do it was to do it. And so I can say that this is how the By Brienne podcast came along. I was fearful of it for a long time because, you know, if you see my first episode, I am an introverted person. I never saw myself to be the type to have something to say, especially on camera. But here we are, long behold. And, you know, I would say that being here has taught me a few things, and I know that even though I have a long way to go, and it's about to be a year since I started, it's very soon, but even though I have a long way to go, I'm proud of the growth that I've endured between last year and now, because child, the kind of things that I was like just listening to, I wouldn't say listening to, but just watching, because I would watch some like helpful motivational podcasts here and there, but not as much as I do now. And it wasn't doing anything for my life. It made me even more complacent in the things that I wanted to do, because I'm so fed up and caught up with somebody else's life. And you know, that's how they get you. That is how they get you. So I would say that it is important to be a free thinker, to think for yourself, because stuff like this is what makes you very influenced by what other people think and say, and you don't even notice it. It's in your subconscious. I realized how detrimental mindful scrolling was to my process. I wasted time watching everyone else's life when I could have created my own, like I mentioned before. And so the By Brienne podcast started. I got the internship I wanted. I remember when I did a episode talking about just steps to taking when wanting to get the internship of your dreams, and I got the internship I wanted, thank God. And I stopped watching my life go by. Within all of that, I took accountability in everything that I need to do. I never blamed, once I took accountability, I knew that it was time to stop blaming other people for the things that were initially my downfall. Like, it was my fault. Like, for example, if I'm late to something and I'm blaming, let's say, my boss because he is such an asshole and such and a third, I don't know. At the end of the day, it's no one else's fault but your own, because you knew you were supposed to be there at a certain time and you're wasting somebody else's time, and you're wasting your own time as well, especially if it's somewhere where you don't want to be. And I feel like being in places, this is kind of a tangent, but being in places where you don't want to be, like a 9-to-5, should help you strive to get to places where you want to be, and even greater. But I believe that should be for another video. So yeah. And it removed my distractions. Ending the mindless scrolling, it removed my distractions, and it helped me really focus on the things that were important to me, such as By Brienne, such as my schoolwork, what else? Such as just getting business done on a day-to-day basis. And I felt challenged. there were days where it would be hard. You feel compelled to look at your phone here and there, but you catch yourself because that is what you need to do in order to be the focused person and high achiever that we are. And so watching more motivated driven content, sermons and podcasts made me want to take action in creating purpose for myself. Now, when I had TikTok, the content that I started to intake, after realizing like how mindless scrolling and the type of things that I was listening to and watching was not good for my mental, and just my productivity overall, I started to switch over to just Christianity content and motivational content. Those were the top two. And so I started to get into like sermons and word of the days and things of that nature. And it really heightened my spirit. It made me feel like I was ready to conquer the day. And I would say that in comparison to the gossip and everything that I was listening to, I was so fed up with it that it was just giving me a low vibrational energy, so much that I couldn't even complete what I really wanted to for myself. Like I was just like I said before, complacent. I couldn't because I was just so stuck on getting fed this useless information. And so I started watching Know For Sure podcast, if you know B. Simone and Megan Ashley, but they broke up. Very sad. I know they should get back together sometime soon, and because they ate with that podcast, and I was very hooked on them. Patrick Bet David. Well, I listen to his motivational talks and his interviews more so than his own podcast. Hines, he's also another spiritual and motivational speaker and content creator. And most recently in Totality with Megan Ashley, so she has her own podcast. And it's, like I said before, faith-based, motivational. And if you know any YouTubers and more content creators who are making that kind of content, comment below and let me know, because I'm always open to listening to more content creators who can help me grow, and who is hopefully helping you grow while you're in your growth and healing process as well. And just a limited time on social media. So February to March, Lent had recently passed, and instead of giving up food, I gave up TikTok. And I would have never known how progressive that would have been for me. Like, I would have never guessed how progressive that would have been for me. Because ever since, like, I haven't been mindlessly scrolling on TikTok. The app is actually not even on my phone. So I've literally just been on Instagram, and even there are times where I catch myself mindlessly scrolling to the point where I have to go back and do the work, because it doesn't feel good to just be sitting doing nothing and watching people live their lives when I can be creating my own, and I can be creating my own story, right? And also the Opal app, I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's called the Opal, like as in an opal, like a gem or a crystal. OPAL, Opal. It's mostly like apps that are distraction based, so like Instagram, YouTube, and stuff like that. It blocks off those apps for a certain amount of time. You can choose. Usually on the weekdays, for me, is 9 to 5. And so if you try to open the app, it blocks you off. It gives you like this quote to try to get you off the app and do something better, something motivational. And you just do what you got to do for the day. And then after that time is up, you can go freely on the app and on the social media apps or whatever apps you have blocked, because it's not limited to social media, but for me it is, because I know myself. And so that has been a great, tremendous help to me, because there's so many times where I'm like in the library and I'm doing my work, and then I feel just the quick need to go on my phone, on Instagram, to just be distracted for something real quickly. But because it blocks me, I'm reminded that I can get my work done quicker because I don't need to be on social media. And so now, ever since cutting mindless scrolling so much, I've been cutting certain types of content from my attention, as mentioned before. And I'm just more driven towards my goals. Whenever I feel like I can be doing something better than mindlessly scrolling on social media, I immediately tell myself that I can be watching a motivational video while doing the work and reaching my goals. And it actually helps. Listening to somebody motivate you in your ear or while you're doing something, and it just it enables you in a good way to be productive, you know? It's like you have somebody rooting for you as you were doing that work. And so, I'm so grateful for that, because I feel like if I kept watching the content that I was before, like last year this time, if I was the same person this time from last year, if that makes sense, I'd be getting nowhere. And that's with everybody. Like, change is okay and change is good, and this is just my version, this is my story to change. So just letting everyone know, like, if somebody is calling you lame for the type of things that you listen to and the type of contents that are bettering your life, just remember where you're gonna be 5 years from now. And I'm not saying that to like think you're better than somebody else, but it's just a motivation factor of you know where you want to be and how you need to get there in order to be successful. And sometimes it takes people longer to notice that, and that's okay. But never feel ashamed of the things that you do that are progressing towards your goals in life, because at the end of the day, it's your life and not nobody else's. And just like taking accountability, like I no longer blame others for my shortcomings, as I mentioned before. And the results we get from our actions is our responsibility, whether good or bad, unless it's an unforeseeable event or natural disaster. Like, I think it's important that we take accountability, because we would save ourselves from so much distress and thinking that other people owe us something when they don't. The only job that we have is to owe ourselves, and to owe ourselves the greatness that we deserve. So, taking responsibility of your own life. And it doesn't seem it seems like it's harder than it is to do, but it's really not. It starts with something as little as picking up a book and gaining knowledge towards something that you want to know more about and gain a skill towards, or picking up a camera and speaking to it so that you can create your own podcast. So yeah. And I don't compare myself to content creators and influencers online. Now, I felt like when I was younger, I used to do that a lot. But now, I've learned that there is no need to do that, because everyone's life is different. And what we see on social media anyways is not how it is in real life. We all know that life is not perfect. That's what social media is made to seem like. But everybody goes through their ups and downs. And I have my life to live. That is okay. And most importantly, through that, I put my faith in God to lead me closer to my life's purpose. I've said this before, but I feel like this is very important for me, at least. My relationship with God has been it's been propelling me to gain knowledge and the skills and the insight, so that I know that I'm doing the right thing. And I just know I'm not lost, I'm doing something that is going to be not only life-changing for me, not only purposeful for me, but also for my family, my friends, and my loved ones. And Gratitude and hard work. So, hard work is important. As somebody who can have their lazy moments, I have my days where I procrastinate. I'm gonna be real. One quote that really sticks to me is from Proverbs 14:23, and that's, there is profit in hard work, but mere talk leads to poverty. And I remember being a person talking about my aspirations and dreams a lot, but honestly, your talk means nothing until you do the work. People will see your value. And social media makes everything that requires hard work seem easy, but that's not reality. And I've learned that time and time again. I've heard people say that time and time again, even influencers. You may think this podcasting is easy. Today, I'm gonna be real. Today was a day where I forced myself to talk, but I know that I need to in order to get closer to my subscriber goal, to my viewership goal, to the audience that I want to reach, most importantly. And so it's not gonna be easy every single day, but nevertheless, hard work is gonna get you to where you want to be. And I will say that if you're going to scroll on social media for a long time, at least indulge in content that is useful to you. So like business pages, motivational speaker pages. But I even say with that, use it wisely, because like the verse says, you can talk about it all along. You can listen to somebody talk about working hard all along, but how is it useful to you if you're not utilizing it for your life? So yeah, take it with a grain of salt. And lastly, if you want to be an entrepreneur, creator, the greatest in what you do, you must not waste your time frying your brain with content that holds no weight to your progress. I know a lot of us need to hear this. I know I do sometimes. Like I said, sometimes I procrastinate. Let's really do better. Like, it's still the beginning of the year. I know we're still trying to get it right, and that's okay. It's okay to stumble and get back up again, as long as you're getting back up and you're doing better every single time. And start really listening to things that are going to be purposeful to where we want to be in the next year from now, next 5 years from now, and so forth. And not only for ourselves, but for the people who care for us and who love us and who have honestly helped us on this journey. And even if it's for yourself, the more value you have for yourself, the more you love yourself. And I should hope you love yourself. I know you do. I do too. And I just want us to be in great places this year. And so, yeah. But with all of that, I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. And honestly, it was very insightful just hearing myself talk about these things. Looking back from last year to now. But yeah, thank you for watching today's episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. Stay blessed.